Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the analysis of YOLENO TV. I hope you're well from wherever you're watching this channel. Now, NTV decided to run a story on their news section. And this story is again on the issue of e-citizen, which the government is forcefully introducing. NTV, through their own investigations, they managed to capture an incident in one of the biggest hospitals here in Kenya that serves so many people. I believe this hospital is in Nairobi. So what NTV did is that they decided to traverse the area, looked at the benches where patients were sleeping, and decided to even go to an extent of doing some, fact-finding or maybe questioning some of those patients who are there. And it appears that there is a hitch with the e-citizen pay bill account. The directive is very clear. All government services, all payments be onboarded on the e-citizen account. That is what the government has given as a directive. But NTV, during its own investigation, managed to come up with this story.
Tulifika kwenye hospitali hii ambayo maelfu ya Wakenya wanatibiwa kutoka kona zote za taifa. Huduma zake pia zimewekwa chini ya e-citizen na Wakenya wote wanatakiwa kulipa kupitia 222. Tunakutana na mama huyu ambaye tunampa jina Naserian. Naserian alifunga safari kutoka umbali wa kilomita 225 na kutumia muda wa saa 3:30 kufika hapa Kenyatta. Anatueleza kwa kawaida tangu mwaka jana yeye huondoka nyumbani saa 8 za usiku. Ameandamana na ndugu yake mdogo na amefika hapa kwa matibabu ya saratani ya matiti.
So nyinyi line ilikuwa ndefu mkangojea. Lakini nilikuwa nimefika 6 ya asubuhi. Mnapata watu wengi kabisa.
Naserian kupitia ndugu yake anatueleza jinsi walifika hapa siku iliyotangulia mwendo wa saa 12 asubuhi. Walipofika na kulipa kupitia 222 iliwabidi wasubiri hadi mwendo wa saa 9 alasiri kabla kupata ujumbe wa kuwa walikuwa wamelipa na walikuwa tayari kuhudumiwa.
That is what NTV came up with. So I want us to dissect this story and try to establish some of the difficulties of the e-citizen account. But before you do that, allow me to encourage you to please support this channel and give this video a like. That is the only support I request from you, ladies and gentlemen.
Wanasema huduma huwezi kuipata kama ujumbe haujarejea kuwa umelipa. Wao walisubiri muda wa saa 8. Walipofikiwa kutibiwa, wanaelezwa kuwa kuna mashine zilikuwa zimefeli na ndiposa tulikutana nao siku ya pili. Leo hii pia walifika saa 12 asubuhi na tunakutana nao mwendo wa saa 7 adhuhuri wakiwa bado hawajatibiwa. Huduma zingine ambazo zimewekwa kwenye e-citizen ni zile za vyuo vikuu. Chuo Kikuu cha Nairobi kimewataka wanafunzi kulipia chakula chao kupitia e-citizen. Tulipofika hapa mwendo wa saa 7:30 tulipata wanafunzi wamemaliza mlo wa siku, lakini wachache walikuwa na mega chakula cha mchana. Tulijaribu kulipa na hapa ikawa mara ya kwanza kupata huduma ya 222. Ilikuwa ikifanya kazi bila tashwishwi.
Mtazamaji, tulitaka kujua ni kwa nini huduma nyingi chini ya e-citizen zimekwama. Tuliandikia idara ya e-citizen maswali tuliyokuwa nayo na tukaomba nafasi ya kufanya mahojiano, ila tukapewa majibu ya karatasi. Tunafahamishwa kuwa huduma iliyotolewa kutoka kwa idara tofauti za serikali ni moja pekee, ile ya kukusanya pesa kupitia 222, ila huduma zingine zote zimesalia katika idara husika. E-citizen vile inasema kwamba masuala ya pesa sasa yanashughulikiwa na Wizara ya Fedha.
So NTV could not be wrong when it decided to air out that story. If you listened to the details in that video which I've shared, you will agree with me that there is an issue with the e-citizen at the moment. Probably there is some kind of jamming. One of the patients there talks about paying for a hospital bill but receiving services 8 hours later, because Between that moment and the time the message was received, if you look at the time frame based on their on the investigation there, it took 8 hours. So I'm just looking at a scenario where a patient has walked in. This patient is critically ill, and this patient, guardians or the patient himself has paid for the services. But these services, they cannot receive them until they get a confirmation message from eCitizen. Because going by the story there, it's alleged that the staffs were saying that until a message comes back to your phone, that is the time we will give you a service. Okay, that could be okay. But I think the best thing would have been the government would have allowed these people, especially the accountants or cashier, to be monitoring any payment that goes to the eCitizen, so that you don't have to wait for an SMS from to come to the client's phone. Because this service by eCitizen, if the payments are to be made there and everybody is doing that payments to that account, then we expect a jam, especially on the relaying of SMSs, the confirmatory SMSs. We expect some kind of hitch. Of course, technology must be addressed first. So what the government could have done, could have taken time to address the issue of this communication, back and forth communication between the payment gateway and the person who is actually the sender of the money. And if I go further and look at how hospitals operate, just take for example in Mombasa, Coast General, or maybe any other facility, whereby when you are sent to the lab, for example, you are expected to pay first. So I'm looking at someone who was going to the hospital at 8, reported at 8. Now you've seen the doctor, you paid for the book, you've seen the doctor, then there's some recommendation on tests. You go back to the cashier, pay for these tests. Then you're supposed to come back to the doctor with your test results. And then from that point, the doctor is supposed to make some prescriptions or prescribe some treatment for you, which again, you must pay first, then go back for that treatment. So I'm just trying to look at this delay that will be witnessed with that kind of arrangement. The delay that is going to be witnessed there is one unimaginable. You can't even imagine, because if you make a payment for the lab test, the result, the confirmatory message comes back after 2 hours. That means you will be able to send these tests to the lab after 2 hours, because that is the time now the confirmation has come back and the receipt has been printed. If that happens, then that means you will also be required to again pay for treatment, which can also cause another delay, the 8 hours you are hearing about. So this issue of eCitizen, unless the government addresses it vizuri, it is going to hit a snag. That's why NTV, when it ran that story, people reacted weirdly. There were so many reactions regarding that story. Nobody seems to be welcoming the issue of eCitizen by going by what I see, but nevertheless, people are still cagey over the eCitizen issue. That's why you find that kila mtu hapa kule koti nini, everybody seems to be saying even why eCitizen just brings complication. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do you make of this story from the NTV? What NTV has said, the story that it ran in their news line. What do you make of that? Please just go below the comment section and tell us what do you understand by that story. So perhaps if you're watching this video and you have not subscribed, please subscribe, like, share our video. Till we catch up again, please stay safe and stay blessed.